Hello, in this video we're looking at issue 69 of Warhammer Imperium magazine, learning some Warlord traits for the Space Marine forces, and then fighting a very large battle on quite a small board. Hello, I'm Will. I'm here with Mike with the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
And today we're looking at issue 69 of Warhammer 40,000 Imperium magazine, which came with the first sprue of parts for the Marneus Calgar and his 2 Victrix Honour Guard. We'll get the rest of their parts in the next issue, where we'll get to see them in the game. But if you want to see this issue's game, you can skip ahead to the battle report using the timecode in the description or the chapter bars, but we'll have a look at the inside of the issue. So we have the background for Marneus Calgar. He's the chapter master of the Ultramarines chapter, right up until the time when Roboute Guilliman returned, where he's been able to remain in that position as Guilliman has other concerns, like being in charge of the whole Imperium now. He wields the Gauntlets of Ultramar, a pair of relic power fists with built-in bolt guns. He's a master strategist, and he's often accompanied by his Honour Guard, like the Victrix Honour Guard, charged with defending the chapter master. Now we have some background on the origins of the Space Marines. Created by the Emperor of Mankind to prosecute the Great Crusade when he reconquered most of the galaxy. Building on his earlier genetic experiments, he turned his genius to making the ultimate army of super soldiers. Each one was built off the genetic code of their Primarch. And there were originally 20 legions. You can see all of them here. 2 of them, the 2nd and the 11th, have been lost to history. Nothing is known about them. 9 turned traitor during the Horus Heresy, siding with Horus, and the other 9 still exist to the present day, although much reduced in size, being only chapters rather than gigantic legions. The Ultramarines, you can see they're the 13th Legion, pretty much in the centre. Now we learn about more Space Marine vehicles, their various tracked battle tanks. So we've got the Predator, which is a main battle tank effectively, equipped with a variety of weaponry for tackling various things. It also mentions the Baal pattern Predator that's used exclusively by the Blood Angels and their successors. The Vindicator is a siege tank with an enormous dozer blade on the front and a huge demolisher cannon for destroying enemy fortifications. The Whirlwind is an artillery support vehicle, and the Stalker and Hunter are self-propelled anti-aircraft batteries. And transports, including the Rhino, which is the basis of all of those vehicles we talked about so far, carries a squad of Space Marines into battle. Razorback is a more specialised version, which trades a bit of transport capacity for some more support fire. And then the Land Raider, which is extremely heavily armoured and can carry even Space Marine Terminators inside it. There are several variants. And also drop pods, which are used for orbital assaults, a hallmark of the Space Marines' way of war. Now we begin something which is headed Rogue Trader Ship's Logbook. A Rogue Trader is an individual who possesses something called a Warrant of Trade, which gives them authority to travel beyond the Imperium's boundaries and seek out worlds, pacifying them and claiming them in the Emperor's name. But in order to do that, they actually have quite a lot of leeway, and their methods are sometimes overlooked as long as they continue to benefit the Imperium, such as trading in forbidden artifacts and using heretical technology by the Imperium as a whole. And so the premise of this is that the Ordo Xenos Inquisitor Jonas Malok has actually inserted an agent into the retinue of Rogue Trader Sonara von Hart and is following her around and reporting to the Inquisitor. And so we've got a number of commentaries in these stories from the Rogue Trader, the Inquisitor, and other characters. So here we see her ship, the Void Mistress, which is her own personal vessel, not part of the Imperial Navy or anything. The Warrant of Trade and a bit of background on that. And then some of her crew here. If you've got the magazine, I'm sure you'd enjoy reading all of these details. There's quite a lot of information here. And actually on the back, a couple of well-known rogue traders, Janos Drake, who featured in the Blackstone Fortress Warhammer Quest box set, and Lucia Vane in the Rogue Trader expansion for the Kill Team game. And also do's and don'ts for the expiring Rogue Trader. Now we have the build guide for Marneus Calgar and the Honour Guard. Again, you don't get all these parts yet. You get the second sprue there in issue 70. There's a tip here about keep the heads separate. Stick them to the top of a paint pot or something similar so you can paint them a bit more easily than when they're embedded in their armour. They all go together straightforwardly as shown. Marneus Calgar has the option of a bare head or a helmet, and he's also on a larger base, as you can see there. And now they are built, and we'll be learning how to paint them in the next issue. And we also have a fold-out insert with this issue, with the continuation of the story of the Gathering Storm. So we learnt previously about the fall of Cadia and the rise of the Inari, and this is where it all kind of comes together with the resurrection of Roboute Guilliman. On the left you can see the Triumvirate of the Primarch, which is Roboute Guilliman himself, Cypher, who is an enigmatic figure from the past of the Dark Angels chapter, one of the so-called Fallen. Nobody really knows what his motivations are, but on this occasion his intentions and those of Guilliman aligned. And Grandmaster Voldus of the Grey Knights, who assisted in fighting against the forces that beset Ultramar. And some of the Ultramarines characters who feature in the story over on the right as well: Marneus Calgar, Varro Tigurius, the Chief Librarian, who we've learnt about before, and Cato Sicarius, the Captain of the Ultramarines' second company, and also Magnus the Red, the Demon Primarch brother of Guilliman, who will feature shortly, and Kairos Fateweaver, the Greater Demon of Tzeentch. And the other side details this whole story. So the survivors of the fall of Cadia, together with the Inari and the Adeptus Mechanicus forces of Belisarius Cawl, eventually arrived in the Macragge system, where Yvraine was able to resurrect Roboute Guilliman from his stasis, save him from the poison that he had been afflicted by. And then they had to clear out the Chaos forces that were attacking Ultramar, and then attempting to make their way across to Holy Terror. They actually ended up in the Maelstrom warp storm, where Guilliman was actually captured by the Red Corsairs, renegade Space Marines, due to a scheme of Kairos Fate Weaver. But then the Demons of Khorne, led by the exiled bloodthirster Scarbrand, attacked and caused a lot of chaos, during which Guilliman was able to escape with some help from a Harlequin called Silandri Veilwalker and Cypher. And then freeing some of the more prisoners, including St. Celestine and Captain Sicarius, they were able to fight their way free and go through a webway portal where they arrived on Luna, what we call the Moon, only to face the Thousand Sons led by Magnus the Red. But Guilliman managed to beat his fallen brother and finally managed to make his way to Terra to speak to the Emperor, his father. So anyway, a lot in that issue, but now we'll be able to hand you over to Mike, who will take us into our game.
So we have some new rules for this issue. We have some Warlord traits for the Space Marines. You can see we have two separate categories. We have a General Warlord traits and then a Vanguard Warlord traits. Any Space Marine Warlord can choose from the General traits, but only the Vanguard Warlords can choose a Vanguard Warlord trait, but they can still choose the General ones. So we have the Imperium Sword, which allows the Warlord to reroll charge rolls, and then each time the Warlord fights, if it made a charge move or performed heroic intervention that turn, add 1 to its strength and attacks characteristics. We have Iron Resolve, which increases the wounds characteristic of the Warlord by 1, and then if they would lose a wound, you can roll a dice. On a 6, that wound is not lost. And then we have an Aura, which is Storm of Fire. While a friendly Ultramarines core unit is within 6 inches of the Warlord, each time more than that unit makes a ranged attack on an unmodified wound roll of 6, you improve the AP characteristic of that attack by 1, although that does not stack with the tactical doctrines as we saw earlier. And then the two Vanguard Warlord traits available. We have Shoot and Fade, which is once per turn in your shooting phase. After shooting with a friendly Ultramarines Phobos unit within 6 inches of the Warlord, that unit can make a normal move or it can advance, and in either case, if it does that, it cannot declare a charge later that turn. And then Target Priority, where in your command phase you can select one friendly Ultramarines Phobos unit within 6 inches of the Warlord, and then until the start of your next command phase, each time more than that unit makes a ranged attack, add 1 to that attack's hit roll. And tutorials here, you can see the Imperium Sword being used, so that does stack with Shock Assault for the Space Marine Captain there, and also the improved strength from his Power Sword. And at the bottom you can see Shoot and Fade there, allowing a unit of Phobos Infiltrators to shoot and then hide in cover. And for our backstory for today's game, so the battles on Kjalma Skull are not limited to just the surface. There are many dusty complexes underneath the surface that the conflict has spilled into, and the Imperium forces have discovered a great energy signal and are attempting to push towards it to obviously destroy it, and the Necrons are going to do everything to stop them. So we have today's mission, Ebb and Flow, which is a 75 power game, but it only takes place across 2 battle mats. And you can see there's a 6-inch centre ground, and then both sides have a deployment zone 9 inches away from the centre ground. And we take turns placing 4 objective markers on the battlefield, starting with the attacker. 1 objective marker must be placed wholly within each deployment zone, and the other 2 must be placed within the centre ground, more than 6 inches from any battlefield edge and more than 9 inches from any other objective marker. So our objectives are capture and control. You get 5 victory points if you control 1 or more objectives, 5 if you control the objective marker in your opponent's deployment zone, and then 5 victory points if you control more objectives than your opponent. This can't be scored in the first battle round. And in this mission, if you control an objective marker at the end of your command phase, it remains under your control unless your opponent controls it at the end of any subsequent phase. So you can move away from it and still maintain control. And it doesn't say anything otherwise, so we'll take a secondary objective each as well. So we'll show you the armies we come up with and then set up the board. Well, here's my Imperium army. We've got going for a mix of Marines and AdMech. So my AdMech contingent, got the Tech Priest Dominus, the Rangers and the Cataphrone Destroyers. And I'm actually going to spend 1 power as well to induct the Tech Priest into the Artisans Holy Order. And then my Marine contingent, we've got the Captain, the Lieutenant with the Shield and the Librarian. And the Captain will be my Warlord, and he'll have the Imperium Sword Warlord trait. So you can reroll charges and get an extra attack and strength when he charges. And the Librarian's psychic powers are going to be Hallucination and Mind Raid. And other than that, I've got a 10-man unit of Infiltrators, 2 5-man units of Assault Intercessors, the Eliminators, the Suppressors, the Outriders and the Aggressors.
And here's my Necron army. I've got 5 HQ choices using the Dynastic Advisors rule of the Cryptex to bring 2 as a single HQ slot. The Overlord in the middle will be the Warlord. He's going to have the Honourable Combatant Warlord trait, so he's going to go character hunting. And I've also got the Scorpic Lord and the Royal Warden. I've got my 3 troops units, 2 warriors and the Immortals. Death Marks, the Scorpic Destroyers, the unit of Countic Scarabs, the Countic Spider, the Countic Reanimator, the Triarch Stalker with heavy Gauss cannons, and a unit of 3 Wraiths with transdimensional beamers. And I'm going to give the Quantum Orb Cryptilic Arcana to the Plasmancer for 1 extra power.
So we've got the board set up and our armies deployed. Objective number 1 is in amongst all those Necrons there on the left. Objectives 2 and 3 across the middle of the battlefield. And objective 4 is over there on the right in that building, underneath all those Space Marines. Go with my deployment first. I've got the 10-man unit of infiltrators with the Librarian in this structure. Got my AdMech contingent with the Skitarii amongst these pipes. The suppressors, the captain, the lieutenant, a unit of assault intercessors, and the aggressors hiding in the building, the eliminators on the upper floor, and over the top of the other unit of assault intercessors and the outriders. And you can see the whole of the Necron deployment.
So from left to right, we've got the Wraiths, the Royal Warden, the unit of Scarabs, the unit of Warriors with the Gauss Reapers and the Immortals. Death Marks are on the roof, although they do still hold the objective because you can do that vertically. In the building are the Technomancer and the Overlord and the Reanimator at the back of the building there. The other side of it, the other Warriors, Plasmancer, the Crypto Thralls, Triarch Stalker at the back, the Countic Spider, the Scorpic Destroyers and the Scorpic Lord. I didn't put anything in reserves.
Yeah, neither did I. For my secondary objective, I picked Attrition.
And for mine, I've picked Domination.
Now we can roll off to see who goes first.
I've won the roll off. I will go first because I could probably go and contest the objectives immediately.
At the start of the battle round, I'm going to pick the Bulwark Imperative as my Doctriner for the extra save, then Shroud Song for my Canticle.
And protocol will be Eternal Guardian as usual. I don't really need the cover at the start, so I'm going to go for Set to Defend or Hold Steady when charged. So no reason to hang around, we're just going straight up the board. We've got the Wraiths moving up towards the objective 3, Scarabs and those warriors in the centre advanced, followed by the Reanimator, the Immortals, the Technomancer, the Royal Warden's just hiding behind a container for the moment. The other warriors did not advance, so they can shoot, but everything over there basically did. The Countic Spider is in the building in range of objective 2, which you can't see from there. The Death Marks are going to stay still. My will be done went on the warriors with Gauss Flayers in front of the Overlord there, and the Reanimation Beam went on the other warriors from the Reanimator. And at the end of the movement phase, Harbinger of Destruction from the Plasmancer, the Infiltrators are actually the closest unit over on the other side of the board. Mortal Wounds on 4s. 1. Slight adjustment with the Wraiths actually, because they couldn't see anything for their guns, so Mike has kindly let me do that. So into the shooting phase, we're going to start with the Warriors with Gauss Reapers in the centre. They can all see an Infiltrator through the window. 20 shots on 4s because they advanced. 9 hits wounding on 3s. 6.
6 4+s because we have cover. Well, he made 4, so it's just 1 Infiltrator dead. First one gets ignored by the medic and then the other guy dies.
The Wraiths next, also shooting at them. 3 shots on 4s. 2 hits, wounding on 4s. 1 wound, AP -3.
So 5+. Yes.
Moving on to the Triarch Stalker now, shooting at the Cataphront Destroyers. 6 shots on 3s. 4 hits, wounding on 3s. 2. I think I'll spend a command point to try and re-roll 1. Oh no, just 2 wounds.
6+ normal save. You.
D3 damage. First one does 3. Second one does 2. Plasmons will shoot the Infiltrators. D3 shots, 2 4s because he did advance. They both hit. Wounding on 3s. 1.
5+, yep.
The Immortal shot the Cataphrons and they did a wound.
Yep, so I'm going to make a save, so 5+ for the Wounded Plasma Man. No, he goes down as well.
The Countic Spider shot the aggressors and did nothing, and we did a wound to an Infiltrator with the Technomancer, and then the other warriors finished that Infiltrator off. That's everything that's in range apart from the Death Marks. They're actually going to shoot these Assault Intercessors all the way over here, because all the other targets that they have are not that exciting or would fix themselves or are entrenched in cover and don't take any damage. So 2s, 3s, 6s do a mortal wound. A mortal wound and 3 wounds total.
So one guy's got cover from the box, so I might as well use it. 4s for him. So he's still alive at this point. And then he dies, and then the mortal wound I'll put on one of the guys at the back.
That's all my shooting. In the charge phase, the Wraiths will charge the Infiltrators.
You know, for the hell of it, I'm going to Overwatch with the Infiltrators. They can all see that one Wraith that's sticking out. And I'll hold steady, so I hit on 5s, but the 6s are automatically wounds because of their Oculus Bolt lines. So there's 3 auto wounds already. 4 regular hits that wound on 5s, getting 2 more, so we got 5 wounds out of all of that.
3+ saves on Wraiths. Oh, we failed 3. We're going to have to use a command point to re-roll one, because I don't want to lose a wraith. Right, okay, 2 wounds. Yeah. And the charge, and then you really need 2. Yeah.
Going to spend 2 command points for transhuman physiology, because there's still 8 infiltrators left.
And then we've got 12 attacks hitting on 4s. 9 hits wounding on 4s. So it's only 3 wounds.
5 plus saves. Made 1. Now you know what, I'll re-roll and see if I can save an infiltrator. Nope, so 2 dead infiltrators. The infiltrators hit back to get another 5 wounds on the wraiths.
So 3s again. I failed 2 this time, so I can't save one even with a command point. So 1 dies, does it come back? No.
The infiltrators do have to take a morale test. Leadership 8 and they lost 4. I think I'll just roll it manually. They're fine. Yeah, that's the end of the Necron turn. Necrons don't get control of Objective 3 because that one infiltrator bravely pulled out of the building to contest it.
So that means I don't get 3 points for domination.
Now we're on to Imperium turn 1. So down here the Librarian's moving out to face with the wraiths. Infiltrators are going to fall back from the wraiths, but also make sure at least 3 of them are still on the objective so that the Necrons don't hold it for now. In the middle, the Assault Intercessors have moved up normally. Aggressors advance to get out, gets them in range of those scours, which is useful. Bikers are coming around. Assault Intercessors are going to hold around that box. The Eliminators will stay where they are, while the Suppressors will move so that they have things to shoot at. Captain's going to hang out in the building for now. Lieutenant's coming out to support the troops. And my AdMech contingent is just going to hold position. That's all my movement, so it's actually onto the Psychic phase. We'll do Smite first, needing a 5. Fails with a 4. So you can actually see the Raw Warden, so I think I'll try and use Mind Raid on the more Raw Warden as well. Actually needs a 6. Gets it with a 9.
Spiders in range to deny, needing a 10. Oh, 11.
Swiftly on to the shooting phase. I'll start with the aggressors. They're going to fire their Flamestorm Gauntlets at those scarabs. So 66 automatic hits. So that's 18 hits. He's wounded on 3s and reroll 1s because the lieutenant's there. Reroll the 2 1s.
11's 6 plus saves. Made none of them, so 1 base is left on a wound. Either 2 bases destroyed come back? No.
Librarian threw a crack grenade at the race and missed. Dominus is going to fire his Volkite at them as well. He also put his Serpenta into the wounded scarab and didn't wound. 3 shots hitting on 2s because he didn't move. 3s to wound. 6s do 2 mortal wounds in addition. Right, just 2 regular wounds.
The wounded one is in cover, so a 2 and a 2. Oh, no. Yeah, there's probably no better chance to use my command point in this phase for that, so a 2. Yes.
The suppressors are going to shoot the reanimator next. 9 shots from the suppressors, hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. The 2 1s get rerolled. Ooh, 2 more hits. 7 hits, wounding on 3s, rerolling 1s. That's 7 wounds at 80 minus 2 because of Devastator Doctrine.
So, 5s. Made 1. It's dead.
Do the Cataphrone next. It's actually going to shoot at the Immortals. D6 shots, 5. Not supercharging, so no risk of explosions, but hitting on 4s. Getting 3 hits and 3s to wound. 3 wounds.
2 have cover, so 5s. Saved 1. Last one. No, 2 dead. Do they come back? 1 does.
Assault Intercessors in the middle there, split their fire between the Wraiths and the wounded Scarabs. Finish off the Scarabs, did no damage to the Wraiths. So Lieutenant's firing his Volkite pistol at the Wraiths as well. He got 2 hits and he's got 2 6s, so that's 2 mortal wounds in addition.
1 at a time because it does 2 damage. On 2s because of cover, so they're fine for that, but then it takes 2 mortal wounds and goes down. Does it come back? It does.
Well, I'll do the Skitarii Rangers next. They're going to put everything into the Wraiths, including a supercharged plasma caliber, but the Sniper's going to go for the Technomancer. Well, I'll do the Sniper first. He rerolls 1s because of the Dominus, so he hits. Wounds on a 3, 6s do a mortal. Whoa!
Well, he has cover, so he'll have a 5 plus save from the Hemotrip reactor. No.
So D3 damage, just 1. Hey, I'll re-roll that with a command point. Reroll into 2 damage. 2 wounds on the race on the Galvanic Rifles.
Force. Yeah.
Plasma. Ooh. Doesn't blow up, wound. Doesn't wound. Arc Rifle. 2 hits. 2 wounds.
Force. No, failed both this time.
2 damage. The Eliminator's going to put 3 Mortis rounds into the Immortals. 3 shots on 2s, rolling 1s. You'll hit. 4s, rolling 1s. 6s do mortal wounds. So we've got 2 wounds and a mortal wound.
Guy in cover needs a 5. Lives, but takes a mortal wound and dies. Does he come back? No.
Outriders will shoot at the Wraiths. 5 wounds at the end of all of that.
With force. Take 3 wounds.
You've got 1 left on a wound.
Reanimation. No.
Well, finally, those Assault Intercessors up to the top there fired the Wraiths as well, trying to finish off that wounded one, but they missed. So we're on to the charge phase. These Assault Intercessors will charge the Wraith.
Which we'll set to defend because it can.
So I end up there. But then I'm going to send the Librarian at the Royal Warden. Ooh, 7, that's not going to be enough. Let's go for broke. Yeah. Oh, he's in with a 12. Well, that gets the Librarian in. I'm going to start fighting with the Assault Intercessors first. So 21 attacks from the Assault Intercessors on 3s. 12 hits on 5s and 1s. At least.
4 plus saves. There's dead. Well, very dead.
So Assault Intercessors can't consolidate into range of those warriors, so we'll just have to settle by moving closer. 5 attacks from the Librarian on 3s. Ooh, they all hit. 4s to wound. 2 wounds. I haven't used a command point yet, so I think I will re-roll one of those. Reroll is a wound, 3 wounds. AP minus 3.
6 is. Oh, none.
3d3 damage.
He's dead.
6, yeah. So then the Librarian's just going to consolidate around the box, so he's definitely out of line of sight of those death marks. That is the end of my turn, at the end of the battle round. I will get 4 victory points for attrition though, because I've killed 4 enemy units. So that's the end of first battle round. We're on to battle round 2. So I'm going to pick Benediction of the Honour Sire for my canticle this turn, and the Protector Doctrine, I believe, is the +1 ballistic skill, +1 weapon skill 1 for the Skitarii. I'll also go straight to the Tactical Doctrine.
And we're Command Protocol of the Undying Legions, and I'm going to pick the directive that lets me reroll a reanimation protocol roll every time I do it. So in my command phase, the Technomancer regained a wound. I put the Quantum Orb over here near Objective 3, so basically the Space Marines want to try and take Objective 3, they're going to have to stand in the danger zone, because it's a 6-inch aura from that point. Technomancer also brought an Immortal back, and my will be done went on the Warriors with Gauss Reapers, who've moved up into the face of the Assault Intercessors. The Mortals following up behind, the Overlord's coming over, because he's going to have to try and deal with the Librarian, I think. Technomancer's in the middle, hiding from all the snipers, although I think he's actually protected by the Crypto Thralls now, because they've come across, as well as the Plasmaxer, behind the other Warriors, with the Scorpet Lord with them. Trarch Stalker just moved across the middle of the board. In the building you can't see are the Scorpet Destroyers, and the Camptic Spider is moved up to go and make a mess of things, I hope. Harbinger of Destruction will hit the Assault Intercessors on Objective 3 for 2 mortal wounds. Open the shooting with the Trarch Stalker at the Suppressors, which we actually just moved off the building because they were falling off, but they're up there.
Yeah, there are 2 of them up at the top, so you can see them.
6 shots on 3s, 5 hits wounding on 3s. Well, 2.
5 plus saves. Made 1.
D3, killed 1. So the Technomancer's going to shoot at the Assault Intercessors and Objective 3.
Yeah, I'm going to use Transhuman Physiology.
Warriors of the Gauss Reapers will also shoot them, 20 shots on 2s. Technomancer did nothing. 17 hits winning on 4s.
6 wounds, I've got to go in cover, so I'll go from him first. He's still alive. And he's still alive. And dead.
The Crypto Thralls did 1 wound to them as well.
So one of the guys in front has cover. Oh, he took a wound.
Immortals will shoot them as well. 3s. 3.
So just straight up 5s. Ooh, down to just Sarge.
Plasmaxer next, we're going to go back to shooting the Suppressors. 3 rerolling 1s because of the Trarch Stalker. 3 1s. The Warriors on the other side will also shoot at them. And they managed 2 wounds.
So 3 plus saves. Yeah, I'll take this wound on a Suppressor.
The Camptic Spider is in range of the Skitarii Rangers. I'm going to try and cut down the number of rifles because Galvanic Volley Fire is quite deadly. 12 shots on 4s. And 3s. Only 4.
3 of the riflemen have cover, so 3 pluses, they're all fine, and got 1 dice, that'll do.
Scorpet Lord will shoot at the Suppressors. 2d3 shots, 4 on 2s rerolling 1s, and 3s rerolling 1s. Oh, they all wound.
3 plus saves, so wounded man dies.
And the Death Marks try and finish him off, which is my last shooting. 4 hits winning on 3s, 2 wounds, but a mortal wound as well.
Well, so I'll just make both to live. He did.
On to the charge phase, the Warriors here with the Gauss Reapers will charge that Sergeant. Then the Overlord will try and charge the Librarian. That's enough to contact the Librarian. And the Camptic Spider will charge the Outriders. And we finish like that. But we'll pick the Overlord to go first. 6 attacks, because he's an honourable combatant, and he's only putting attacks on the character.
Yeah, and I'm going to use Transhuman Physiology.
So hitting on 3s. Well, they all hit. On 4s.
Oh, he's super dead.
15 damage.
Yeah.
And he'll just consolidate into there, and then we'll do the Warriors next on that Sergeant. 7 attacks on 2s, mine will be done. Oh, doesn't matter. Winning on 4s. On 4.
3 plus saves. No, Sarge goes down. Is it worth saving him? Yeah, you know what, I will, because that's 1 less unit per attrition. Reroll. Oh, it was not to be.
And finally the Spider has 5 attacks which hit on 4s. Managed 1. Well, it's only tying them up, so it wins on a 3. Yeah, it is. -3.
It's 2 damage. Now the Outriders got 4 wounds with their hitbacks. They will show the Spider saves.
4s. Oh, it takes damage. And at the end of the turn, I do get my domination because I hold 3 of the 4 objectives for 3 victory points, going up to 8.
On to Imperium turn 2. These infiltrators are moving around so they can see the warriors through that window. The aggressors and the lieutenant are moving across. We're just winning all the quantum orb. And up at the top, the captains come out of the building while the outriders have fallen back. So my shooting phase, up at the top, the captain and the assault intercessors threw some grenades and fired pistols at the spider and didn't achieve anything, so I'll do the Cataphrone Destroyer next. It's going to put the heavy plasma supercharged into the spider while the Cognitive Flamer is just about in range of these warriors, so it will shoot at them. I'll resolve the heavy plasma first, d6 shots for 6. Looking for 4s, and I can reroll these. Oh, I can reroll one of those ones at the very least. Hey, I'll spend a command point to reroll the other one. Do that in a second. Ooh. Getting 2 more hits. 4 hits, that wound on 3s. And I can get a free reroll because of Benediction of the Omnissiah. I'm only getting 2 wounds.
6s though. Oh, make 1. 2 damage.
And then d6 plus 2 flamer hits for 8. 8 hits wounding on 4s.
Get 6 wounds. I guess 1 will have cover with a 3. And a 3. 3. 3. 3. Oh, it dies. Reanimation on a 5. Re-rolling that though because of Undying Legions. Yes.
I'll do the infiltrators next at the same unit. 12 bolt carbine shots on 3s, 6s automatic wound. 3 auto wounds, 4s for the regular hits, that's 3 more, 6 in total. Save -1 because of tactical doctrine.
5s, no cover from this. Oh, I made 5 of them. Does it come back? Yes.
So we'll do the aggressors next, going to put their flamers all into those warriors. 66 automatic hits. 23 hits, wounding on 4s, re-rolling 1s. And with the re-rolls...
There was 14 wounds, also benefiting from the tactical doctrine. Again, 1 in cover on 4s. Oh, dies.
We're needing 5s now.
That's another 11 damage, so they are all dead.
Next, the Eliminators are going to shoot mortis rounds at the Overlord. 3 shots on 2s, rolling 1s. On the 1, they will hit. 4s, 6s do a mortal wound. 2 wounds and a mortal wound.
4s. Oh dear.
So that's 5 damage going through.
Yes, that'll kill him, so I do need to re-roll one of these. Re-roll. No. That's enough to kill him.
We'll do the Skitarii Rangers next. We'll put all the rifles into those warriors at the top there, and then the plasma and the arc rifle will go into the spider. And I will supercharge the plasma. 10 rifle shots on 2s, on 1s. And 4s. Oh, only getting 3 wounds.
Some have cover, so 4s. Failed 1. Reanimation. Re-rolling 1s because they're warriors. No.
Do the plasma first, getting 2 hits and 3s. 1 wound.
6. Nope, 2 damage.
And the arc rifle gets 2 hits. 3s. Gets 1 wound, everyone's 2.
5. Made it.
Down to 1 wound. I forgot to mention the sniper, so I'll just do him at the spider as well. He hit. 3s. Wounded.
5. No, it goes down. Does it blow up? No.
I'll do the Suppressor Sergeant next. He's going to shoot at the Crypto Thralls. 3 shots on 3s, rolling 1s. They will hit. 3s. 2 wounds.
4s. Oh dear, they did.
Well, the Lieutenant shot at the Immortals and didn't achieve anything, so I've only got the Dominus left to go. He's going to put his Volkite into the Immortals as well, while the Phosphor Serpenter has to go into the warriors that are behind the Hematose Reactor. So the Volkite's the important one. 3 shots on 2s. And they will hit. And wounding on 3s, strength 6. 6s do 2 mortal wounds in addition. Well, there's 4 mortal wounds, so that's going to be enough to kill the Immortals. And the Serpenter did a wound on the warriors.
4+ with cover. No. Animation. Re-rolling. No. And at the end of the phase, I will try and bring back the Overlord with Resurrection Protocols. On a 4+. No.
Well, now we're on to the charge phase. I think the aggressors will start and they'll charge the Technomancer. Forgot to show their roll, but I got a 10. The aggressors will come in like that. 2 at the back are in range of the objective and still in range to punch the Technomancer. Lieutenant's going to charge next. He's going to charge those warriors on the other side of the Hematose Reactor. Probably need a decent roll. He has to do some clambering. 7. And that's enough to get him over. So now those warriors engaged. I'll charge those Assault Intercessors as well. And the Assault Intercessors get a 7. That's not going to be enough.
And I'll just heroically intervene with the Plasmaster to get him a bit closer to the action. At the start of the phase, Plasmaster might do mortal wounds to the Lieutenant on a 4+. He takes a wound. And the aggressors... no.
13 attacks from the aggressors on 4s. We've got 6 hits. Wounding on 2s and rerolling 1s.
Yeah, well, he's dead already. He's only got 4+ save. 6
attacks from the Lieutenant on 2s. 5 hits, 3s, 2 wound. That's 3 dead Necrons.
Do they come back? 1 does. I can reroll that 1 and the 2 because of the Undying Legions. No. The Warriors fighting back did 3 wounds to the Lieutenant.
2+ saves though, because you've got a shield. Hey, we're going to reroll one of those. There, whew, he took 1 wound.
And we'll try Resurrection Protocols again for the Technomancer, so this is on a 4+. No, he doesn't come back either.
So that's the end of my turn. I've definitely got attrition. I think I've killed about 5 Necron units this turn, so that's another 4 for me, up to 13. And we'll be on to Necron's turn 3. Well, this turn I'm going to choose Litany of the Electromancer for my canticle. I'm not going to choose a Doctrine or Imperative. And I'm going to go to the Assault Doctrine as well.
And I don't get any Command Protocols because I don't have any Nobles left. Not much movement. The Warriors are going to stay in melee with the Lieutenant, because if they don't, he'll heroically intervene into something squishier. Plasmon's just moved to making the closest. Triarch Stalker has moved a bit round. It's going to try and charge on to Objective 3. And the Destroyer Lord and Destroyers have gone this way to try and deal with all things over there. So Harbinger of Destruction hits the Lieutenant for a mortal wound.
Down to 2.
I'll start the shooting phase with the Scorpec Lord. He's going to shoot at the Eliminators. 2d3 shots, 5. Hitting on 2s rerolling 1s. They will hit 3s rerolling 1s. 4 wounds.
2+ saves. Did a wound, so I'll take that.
Triarch Stalker will shoot at the aggressors.
And I'm going to use Sentient Physiology.
3s and 4s. No, 3 wounds.
No cover, so 6s. Ooh.
D3. 1, 2.
So there's 1 dead.
And 1.
So 1 dead and 1 takes a wound.
Death Marks are going to shoot the Eliminators as well. 2s and 3s. 6s do a mortal wound. Just 3 wounds normal.
So these will be 3+ saves because we've got cover. They're all fine.
Finally, shooting the Plasmonster will also shoot them. He gets 2 shots, which hit once and fail to wound. Which I will reroll the command point down to 8. That's a wound.
4+. You.
The Triarch Stalker charged into aggressors, didn't really need to roll. The Scorpec Lord, that is charging into the Captain, that might be a fail. So the Scorpec Lord gets to there, and then the Destroyers just needed a 2 to get to there. And then Plasmonster might do mortal wounds. Lieutenant, takes 1, he's down to 1. And the aggressors, they'll also take 1. I'll pick the Scorpec Lord to fight first.
And I'm going to use Transhuman for the Captain.
4 attacks, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. We all hit. Wounding on 4s, Transhuman, rerolling 1s, though, because of his aura. No, 2 wounds.
4+ invulnerable. Captain goes down.
Scorpec Lord consolidates like that. We're bringing in the Eliminators. I'll do the Destroyers next. Big Sword hits twice, 3s. Yes, 2 wounds.
2 dead.
Other ones, reroll 1s. Only 5 hits, wounding on 3s as well. Rerolling 1s because the Scorpec Lord's aura gets us 4 wounds, AP -3.
Hey, you made 1, that's not enough, so they're all dead as well.
And then last of the Triarch Stalker to go. Hitting on 3s. 2 hits, wounding on 3s as well. 1.
Right, he's dead. 5 attacks from the Lieutenant on 2s. Hitting 4. 3s to kill. 4 dead Necrons.
The animation. 1 back, 2 1s. 2 back.
They struck back and failed to wound him. So I'll do the Aggressor Sergeant. 5 attacks on 4s. Or 4 hits. 4s, because Quantum Shielding. Rerolling 1s. 2 wounds.
5+ invulnerable. Made 1, takes 2 damage.
10 attacks on the Outriders. 7 hits. 5 to wound. 3 wounds. That leaves me 2.
Assault Doctrine, 5s. Oh dear, we would lose a Destroyer. Reroll a save. No. His 1 is dead. Does it come back? No.
Well, that was it for this turn. Eliminators failed to wound the Destroyer Lord. We contest Objective 3, so no domination for the Necrons this turn. We're on to Imperium turn 3. Well, in my movement phase, the Infiltrators have advanced. They're going to come across, see if we can nab the Necron home objective. The Aggressor Sergeant has found the one spot directly in front of the Triarch Stalker where he's not actually still engaged with it. And my admech contingent start moving. The Eliminators are going to fall back from the Destroyer Lord. The Aggressor Sergeant's going to stay where he is, and those Outriders are going to fall back to head towards Objective 2. I also gained 5 victory points in the command phase for holding my home objective. I'll do the Lieutenant's Neovolkite pistol. I've got 2 hits with it so far. Wounding on 3s, 6 and 2 mortal wounds. So we've got a wound and a mortal wound.
4+ save? No, so he kills 2. The animation? Just 1 back.
I'll do the Suppressor Sergeant at those Destroyers. 3 shots on 3s, getting 2. 3s, 1 wound.
4, yes.
I'll do the Cataphron. He's going to fire the supercharged plasma at the Destroyers and then put the Flamer into the Destroyer Lord. D6 shots from the plasma, 5 on 4s. 2 1s in there. The Cadron takes 2 wounds himself. Yeah, I need my command point for Galvanic Volley Fire, so I'll take that. 2 wounds, getting 1 wound in total.
6. No.
So 2 damage. D6 plus 2 hits on the Destroyer Lord for 6. And Woody on 5 is getting 2.
3s. Oh dear, takes 2 damage.
I'll use my Artisan's Tech Priest to get a command point off Galvanic Volley Fire so I can use it on the Skitari, and then they're going to fire everything at the Destroyer Lord, and I'm going to supercharge the Plasma as well. So I'll do the Sniper. He hits. 3s. Wounds.
4. No. Yeah, I'm going to have to reroll a save at some point during this shooting, so I might as well do it now. Yes.
20 shots with the Galvanic Rifles, hitting on 3s, rolling 1s. Good job we can reroll those 1s. 18 hits, wounding on 5s. 7 wounds.
4s to save. Nah, he's dead.
I only have the Tech Priest Dominus to go. He's going to put both his weapons into the Destroyers. 3 shots with the Volkite on 3s. They will hit. 3s, 6s do 2 mortal wounds in addition. Just 1 wound.
3. Made it.
And his Serpenta hits and wounds.
4. No, kills the Destroyer. Does it come back? Nearly.
And that's it for my shooting. We're on to the fight phase. Can the Plasmancer finish off the Lieutenant?
Mortal wound on a 4. No. The Aggressor Sergeant's within 6 as well. He's alright.
But then can those Necron Warriors finish off the Lieutenant?
3 attacks on 3s. They all hit. Wounding on 4s. All 2 wounds.
Oh, 2 plus. No, died. Well, definitely not getting attrition this turn. So, yeah, that's it. We'll be on to Necron's turn 4.
But I will concede the game there, because what's going to happen is that I'll gain 5 points and go up to 18, and then with shooting and mortal wounds and stuff, I can probably damage or maybe even destroy either the Outriders or the Infiltrators. Probably the Outriders is easier, and the Triarch Stalker can finish off the Aggressor Sergeant in melee, and so I get Domination for 3 points, putting me up to 21. But then in the Imperial turn, the Infiltrators and whatever's left of the Outriders can attack my home objective, shoot and charge the death marks, probably tie them up and take the objective, and then my Destroyer and probably the Warriors will all get destroyed by shooting, and the Skitari Rangers could probably even charge into the Triarch Stalker and take objective 3, and I won't be able to get Domination again either.
You've got a bunch of fairly weak units I could probably pick off for attrition as well.
Yeah, so I get a maximum of 26, whereas the Imperium will probably be on at least 30 something, so I think we'll call it there.
So that will be an Imperium victory. Certainly a bloody one though. We'll recap that game for you now. Well, that was the game for issue 69 of Warhammer 40,000 Imperium magazine. How do you think that went?
Well, it could have been better, I suppose. It was quite close. After I did officially concede, we did do some rolling just to confirm what I suspected was going to happen, and basically it did. The Infiltrators charged onto my home objective, killed all the death marks. The Imperium would have been up to about 40 victory points or something by the end. I think it came down to actually I made quite a few mistakes. I think I shouldn't have put those Scarabs so far out the front, because they just got destroyed for no real benefit. Probably should have had them support the Wraiths and then go and tie up your gun line or something. I think also reanimating the Wraith in front of the objective was a mistake. I probably should have actually kept them either in the building or behind it, so that they were more of a threat later rather than just letting you charge and destroy them. I think I probably should have also put the Canoptic Spider on the same flank as the Wraiths to back them up, because once they died there wasn't actually much there to hold everything up. I think the Scorpion Destroyers and the Lord were quite enough to hold the other flank and provide a threat that meant you didn't want to charge things in melee.
Yeah, well, I think also it's the fact that when you shot at me you weren't able to finish off units, and I was able to get attrition, although I probably went a bit overkill in one turn, killed about 5 more than you did.
Yeah, I did make a couple of mistakes with target priority. I possibly should have focused down some units rather than spreading the damage around, knowing that you had attrition. I didn't take attrition as my objective because I didn't think I could win the number of units killed war, which was correct. I think Domination was as good a choice as any. I would have scored it turn 4 if we'd carried on, so it would have scored twice, which would have been as much as Slay the Warlords. It was obviously always going to be a really bloody battle given the size of the board. We were right on top of each other immediately. The recommended board size for 75 power is twice this big.
Yeah, this is a very small board for armies this size. Like, we didn't take any reserves because there wouldn't have been any space to bring them on. I did consider combat squadding the Infiltrator squad, but the other 5 would have just been eaten by the Destroyers. They were much more effective, actually, altogether.
Interestingly, I think I would have actually had quite a good lead in victory points if we'd had the same objective as in the previous games, where it was 5 for one objective, 5 for 2 objectives, and 5 for more than your opponent, because I had 2 objectives most of the time. But because it was taking your home objective, I actually thought that was going to be a pointless victory condition at the beginning, but then, if we carry on to turn 5, it would have won you the game. So
this game also said that you maintain control of objectives and you're able to move out, but there wasn't really anywhere to move. I've just set a sniping unit on top of your home objective and there's no reason to ever move them. But also they're close enough. Like, I mean, you could probably actually get a unit of Necron warriors between two objectives anyway.
I also don't think I used the Quantum Orb very well. I think I should have actually used it in turn 1 to create an area in front of one of the objectives where you wouldn't want to move your units for fear of taking mortal wounds. Because as it was a bit too late to actually influence things. You were just able to move all your units away from it. Whereas if you'd had to risk the mortal wounds in order to get to my lines, I think it would have been more effective that way. The Overlord may have been an honourable combatant, but that doesn't help when you get a load of sniper rifle rounds to the face.
Yeah, I didn't actually expect to kill him with sniper shots. I think I did quite well with 6s for mortal wounds during this game, like killing the Immortals off with the Volkite. I mean, the Librarian again didn't do very much except kill the Raw Warden. I think I misplayed with the Captain. I forgot about his Imperium sword letting him reroll charges, in which case I probably should have charged him to help out the Lieutenant. I know I kind of want the Captain to support all my ranged units, which are all sitting at the back anyway, so I suppose we should talk about the new Warlord traits.
Yeah, well, I suppose Storm of Fire is actually a better Warlord trait if he's going to be sitting at the back.
Yeah, but he doesn't stack with Tactical Doctrines is the thing, so although it would help with the Suppressors and the Eliminators, I suppose.
Yeah, once you move out of the Devastator Doctrine.
Otherwise it's not really worth it with the other ones. Yeah, Imperium Sword, I guess, is fine with the Captain or the Lieutenant. Those two are the only ones I'd actually want to make my Warlord, because the Librarian and the other Lieutenant don't have any kind of invulnerable save. I rolled off camera, if I'd taken Iron Resolve, the Captain would have only taken 2 wounds. He did really well at ignoring wounds then. It's probably a better one anyway. Giving him 7 wounds, he can survive 2 attacks from the Overlord or the Destroyer Lord. And then the 2 Phobos ones, there's one that lets a Phobos unit move in the shooting phase. Would have been useful in this game if the Librarian was still alive and the Infiltrators were in position to move around. They would have gotten a free round of movement. And the other one, letting a Phobos unit get +1 to hit. Eliminators already hit on 2s, and Infiltrators bolt guns aren't that amazing. If I really wanted to maximise it, I'd take the Librarian with Soul Sight anyway, let them reroll all hits.
And the Suppressors are not a Phobos unit.
With this collection, I just don't think there's much use for the Phobos ones. Phobos guys can take the generic ones as well, but again, I'd rather have it on a character with an invulnerable save just so that they survive better. But otherwise, I don't think there's too much more to say about this game or this issue. So as always, if you like this content, do leave a like and subscribe. We were the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye for now.